Tonight on TV2 News, we have the recap on Election Day here in Ohio, the results and issues that matter most to you.
I will never forget the great people of Ohio. Thank you for this honor to serve you. I'll fight for you every day. God bless you guys, and thank you.
Start getting those coats and scarves out because Kent is bringing those cold temperatures soon. What to expect for the upcoming days.
And the Kent State Golden Flashes are looking to keep their season alive tonight on the road. Stay tuned later on to see the preview.
And new updates on the war between Russia and Ukraine. We break it down and more as TV2 News at 6 starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good Wednesday evening, Portage County, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alexandria Manthey.
And I'm Matt Carali. We begin tonight with a recap of yesterday's midterm election.
That's right. Our correspondent Noah Rowe has more on the results here in Portage County and all of Ohio. Hi, Noah.
Thank you, Alex. That's right. Last night's election was filled with countless tight races. At the forefront of many voters' minds was the race between J.D. Vance and Tim Ryan for Ohio's seat in the Senate.
We've been given an opportunity to do something, and that's to govern. And to govern to make the lives of the people of Ohio better. That's exactly what I aim to do. And because of you, I get a chance to.
And with these, I will promise you victory. Victory for America, victory for Ohio, but most importantly, victory for our kids and our grandkids. Thank you so much. God bless you all. I love you guys. Thank you.
Senator Rob Portman's seat was filled yesterday after an extremely tight race that went back and forth all night. Republican candidate J.D. Vance won the seat with a little over 53% of the total votes. Vance won Portage County by 8 percentage points over Tim Ryan. J.D. Vance will take the office when the Senate reconvenes January 3rd, 2023.
But in the end, it comes down to the most important thing, and that is our people. We have great people in Ohio.
Portage County was one of the many counties that incumbent Governor Mike DeWine won last night in his re-election bid. Mike DeWine defeated the Democratic candidate for governor, Nan Whaley, last night by a wide margin. DeWine campaigned heavily on the state of the economy as well as inflation. Bringing it back to Portage County, Mike Tinlin defeated Geraldine Hayes Nelson for the position of Portage County Commissioner. Matt Kelly beat Brad Cromes for the Portage County Auditor. Incumbent Gail Pavliga also won re-election as the Ohio House Representative of the 72nd District. State Representative Amelia Sykes won a new job in Congress last night, representing the new 13th Presidential District. Sykes, a Kent State alum, beat Republican candidate Madison Jessiato Gilbert for the Senate seat. 2 school levies in Summit County failed, and a levy to grant more funding to local parks also failed in Coventry Township. In Akron, Democratic incumbent Nancy Holland, who was picked in June 2021 by Akron City Council to represent Ward 1 following the death of former Councilman Rich Swirsky, defeated a Republican challenger and a write-in candidate. And Issue 10, a citizen initiative to create a community oversight board for the Akron Police Department, also passed with 61% of the vote. In other election results from across the state, the incumbent Frank LaRose defeated 2 opponents in the general election for Ohio Secretary of State. In the Ohio Attorney General race, Dave Yost retained his seat against opponent Jeff Crossman. Issue 1, which had to do with bail reform, and Issue 2, which will no longer allow non-citizens to vote in local and state elections, both passed by a wide margin yesterday night. This has been Noah Rowe live from the Franklin Hall studio. Alex, Matt, back to you.
Thanks, Noah. Katie Payette is a recent Kent State grad and took on a high-profile case serving as Tim Ryan's communication director.
Yeah, TV2's Chris Abreu talked with her last night about why she loves the job.
About people, and I think that, I study journalism, and for me it's just the ability to connect with people and can hear their story and hear really why this campaign matters so much.
And keeping with election updates, the Waterloo School district levy was once again rejected by voters. The levy was for a 5-year 1.5% annual income tax to maintain essential school services and expand on current programs.
The effort failed with 1,513 votes for the tax and 1,918 against. Waterloo voters have not passed a levy since 2013.
And Kent voters have said yes to an effort working to decriminalize marijuana. Issue 17 was on the ballot yesterday and was approved to lower the penalties for misdemeanor marijuana offenses.
The issue was backed by Sensible Kent, a group that is part of the Sensible Movement Coalition. The group has worked on similar decriminalization efforts in various cities across the state. Issue 17 here in Kent passed by more than 4,000 votes, with 5,551 votes in favor and 1,151 against.
But Kent is not the only place trying to decriminalize marijuana. States like Arkansas, Maryland, Missouri, North Dakota, and South Dakota had a similar legislation on their ballot.
These states had the recreational use of marijuana on the ballot for those above the age of 21. Maryland and Missouri's issues both passed, while Arkansas and both of the Dakotas did not.
Kent State and all of Portage County. I'm your weather anchor, Nuried Hurtado, with your weather forecast. Let's see what is going on currently in Kent. We have 57 degrees, it feels like 56, almost the same temperature, with a dew point of 18 degrees. We have the wind going south-southeast at 5 miles per hour and a humidity of 25 degrees and a visibility of 9 miles. Now, checking out for the rest of our night, at midnight we're going to have 49 degrees, the temperature is going to start dropping and we're going to have clear skies. Tomorrow morning we're going to have the same kind of temperature with sunny skies at 8 a.m. and at noon the temperature is going to go a little bit higher with 64 degrees and clear skies. Tomorrow we're going to have a high temperature of 73 Fahrenheit. It's going to be mainly sunny and the low is going to be 54. We have the wind going out south 5 miles per hour and the sunset is going to be set at 5:10 p.m. That's all I have for you right now, but don't go anywhere because I have the rest of your weather forecast with what to expect for the coming days.
Thanks, Nuried. Kent State Police partnered with undergraduate student government last night for their annual safety walk. The walk, which is actually a ride in golf carts, is to get the students' perspective on what areas of campus may be a concern. The group met at East Chiller Plant between McDowell Hall and Liebrecht Hall to begin the drive through campus.
A Cleveland man is facing 8 felony counts as he is accused of throwing a 71-year-old disabled man from Ravenna Township to the ground in the parking lot of a Walmart in Ravenna. City police said they pursued 26-year-old Ezekiel Vasquez, who was in a Ford on East Main Street and other side streets before being caught by abandoning the vehicle and trying to escape in a woman's car. Judge Becky Doherty ordered Vasquez to a $500,000 bond and is scheduled for a jury trial on January 10th.
Election results in Portage County, but when we return, we will have the recap on pivotal races in other states across the nation.
Plus, big news concerning the war between Russia and Ukraine. Those updates ahead.
Welcome back, everyone. Last night's congressional races across the country are coming down to the wire, with control of the House and Senate remaining to be unknown.
CNN's Karen Kafa tells us where those races are close and what to expect in the days to come.
The battle for control of the U.S. Senate is coming down to just a handful of critical races. Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia, where a tight contest between incumbent Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker could go to a December runoff.
I look forward to continuing on that journey together over the next 6 years.
I'm like Ricky Bobby. I don't come to lose.
So far, Democrats garnering enough victories across the country to stave off Republicans' pursuit of a red wave. Each party now clinging to hopes of winning narrow majorities in at least one chamber. Democrats earning a much-needed opportunity to maintain Senate control with one critical win.
I'll be the next U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania.
as Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman defeated Trump-endorsed Dr. Mehmet Oz to flip the formerly Republican-held Senate seat. The GOP also falling short on Senate races in New Hampshire and Colorado, but taking key victories in Florida, North Carolina, and Ohio, where Republican J.D. Vance defeated Democratic Senate candidate Tim Ryan.
I will never forget the great people of Ohio. Thank you for this honor to serve you.
Control of the House, too, remains uncertain. Republicans who expected to benefit from high inflation and historical trends have not seen all of their anticipated victories materialize. However, GOP momentum in the closing stretch has given the party some hope.
It is clear that we are going to take the House back.
But with so many races yet to be determined, the balance of power in Washington is still up in the air.
I never expected that we were going to turn these red counties blue, but we did what we needed to do.
Multiple media outlets project Democrat John Fetterman will win the Pennsylvania Senate race, defeating Trump-backed Republican Mehmet Oz. Fetterman will succeed retiring Republican Senator Pat Toomey, flipping a seat in favor of Democrats. Fetterman, Pennsylvania's lieutenant governor since 2019, stayed in the race despite suffering a stroke in May. His victory came despite having to scale back campaigning while he recovered.
Democrat Wes Moore will become the new governor of Maryland. CNN projects Moore has defeated Republican challenger Dan Cox. Moore's victory is historic as he becomes the first black governor in the state, and his win is a big boost for Democrats. He will succeed Republican Governor Larry Hogan, who served 2 terms in office.
And another first, Massachusetts has elected its first woman and first openly lesbian governor in state history. Multiple media outlets have projected Maura Healey as the winner, defeating Republican Jeff Deal. Healey is the current state attorney general. She has served in that role since 2014, and she will succeed Republican Governor Charlie Baker, who could not run for the 3rd term.
I didn't run because to be the first Gen Z member of Congress, right? I ran to represent District 10 and the people here in Central Florida because I believe in our state. But it's a big part of the story, right? Gen Z and millennials make up a 1/3 of our country, but we're nowhere near a 1/3 of government. And I think we need a government that looks like the people. So I'm excited to bring that representation to Congress. I'm the first, but I definitely...
You heard it, history made in Florida last night as Democrat Maxwell Frost is now one of the youngest members of the House of Representatives in history at the age of 25, making him the first congressman that is a part of Generation Z. Frost defeated Republican Calvin Wimbish by 19 percentage points, as Frost was heavily favored to win the seat that represents the mostly Democratic Orlando area coming into the race. Before running for Congress, Frost was the organizer for March for Our Lives, a group that advocates for gun control.
The Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade earlier this year was among the issues Americans considered while voting. In at least 3 states, Michigan, California, and Vermont, abortion rights were protected. However, it's too soon to tell what will happen with abortion rights in Kentucky and Montana. Voters in Kentucky considered an amendment that doesn't protect the women's ability to terminate a pregnancy. Montana residents, meanwhile, considered a referendum that imposes criminal penalties to healthcare providers who perform an abortion.
Russian oligarch Yevgeny Prigozhin has appeared to admit interference in U.S. elections. And not only that, but he said the country has interfered, is interfering, and will continue to interfere in future elections. Now, Prigozhin has no role in the Russian government, but this statement is the first to seemingly admit to election interference by someone that is somewhat closely related to the oligarchy.
Storm Nicole is intensifying and is the forecasting to be the first hurricane to strike the United States in this late in the year in nearly 40 years.
The threat of a direct strike from a Category 1 hurricane has triggered mandatory evacuations in Florida's Palm Beach and Volusia counties Wednesday morning. And now for weather here in Kent, our own Nuried Hurtado.
Thanks, Matt and Alex. I know you've been waiting for the rest of your weather forecast, so let's get right into it. As for right now in Northeast Ohio, we have High 70s around the whole Northeast Ohio. We have 77 in Sandusky, that is the highest temperature for today. 75 in Mansfield, 74 around Worcester, Kent, and Ashtabula, and 73 in Cleveland, Youngstown, and Canton. Now zooming out for the whole state, we have 80 in Dayton. It's a really warm afternoon today. Dayton has 80, that's the highest temperature for today. 78 Cincinnati, 77 Lima, Akron and Columbus at 76, and Steubenville and Athens at 74. Now for our 7-day forecast. As I told you before, we're gonna have good temperatures for this weekend. However, on Friday we're gonna have rain at 60 degrees. Saturday and Sunday we're gonna have cloudy skies at 42 and 38 degrees. The temperature is gonna start dropping to start the week on Monday with partly cloudy skies and 41 degrees. And Tuesday and Wednesday, I am so sorry to tell you if you don't like the weather and you don't like snow, we're gonna have rain and snow showers coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday at 42 and 40 degrees. That's all I have for you today. Stay warm, Portage County. I'll see you next Wednesday with more weather updates.
Thanks, Nuried. The Cygnus spacecraft docked at the International Space Station this morning. The spacecraft, which was carrying more than 8,000 pounds of science experiments and supplies, left Virginia on Monday. And just hours after launching, NASA says one of the 2 solar arrays failed to deploy. They initially tried to fix it, but decided it had sufficient power to finish its journey. The spacecraft will be at the space station until January.
Expect to see some people change their employment status on Facebook. Meta, the social media giant's parent company, announced plans to lay off 11,000 of its workers. That is the largest job cut in the company's history. Meta ad sales have been affected by various issues, including privacy changes and competition from rivals like TikTok. Last month, Meta posted its second quarterly revenue decline and said its profit is about 50% of what it was last year.
WNBA star Brittany Griner's lawyers say they are unsure of her whereabouts. This comes as she is transferred from a pretrial detention facility to a penal colony. This is due to serve the remainder of a 9-year drug smuggling sentence that was upheld in late October. Russian penal colonies are known for their lack of hygiene and access to medical care, with inmates often subject to manual labor.
Today, Russia announced that it has retreated from Kherson, which is a key city in southern Ukraine. The announcement of the withdrawal has led to weeks of Ukrainian advances toward the city and a race by Russia to relocate more than 10,000 of its citizens. However, Ukrainian authorities have not confirmed the move, and President Volodymyr Zelensky suggested that Russians were laying in a trap pullout from Kherson in order to lure Ukrainian forces into battle.
Sticking with Ukraine, Sean Penn showed his support for Ukraine in a symbolic move. The actor handed his Oscar to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who posted video of the moment Tuesday. Zelensky said Penn brought the Oscar as a show of faith in Ukraine and its war against Russia's invasion. Penn is heard telling Zelensky the Oscar can be returned to Malibu when, quote, when you win. Zelensky returned the favor to Penn by presenting him with his country's Order of Merit in the 3rd degree.
Keeping things overseas, over 200 migrants were picked up in the Mediterranean Sea that have been in limbo for 19 days. Italy's far-right government made the decisions to close its ports to humanitarian rescue ships. The non-governmental organization that's running the ship, the SOS Mediterranean, has not gotten permission by either Italy or France to dock.
A warning to anyone taking certain over-the-counter dietary supplements for heart health. New research shows that they may not help and in some cases may be harmful. Study author Dr. Luke Laffin says he's seen an increase in patients using supplements since he says they aren't evaluated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Experts say a healthy diet and exercise can help.
Shifting gears now to the coronavirus. Hong Kong is easing their COVID restrictions when it comes to tourist groups. The decision was made on Monday, as this now allows them to enter theme parks and museums after arriving in the financial hub. The country has been relaxing their restrictions as early as September 26th with hotel quarantine for international arrivals. Early AD days. You won't want to miss it.
The The Cleveland Guardians are now in their offseason, but stay tuned after the break to see which players can come home with some awards.
The College of Public Health at Kent State University prepares students for careers in some of today's most exciting health fields. Public health professionals impact lives by monitoring clinical trials, advocating for mental health, supporting active lifestyles, and more. The College of Public Health also offers open courses for any major, including its most famous course, Zombie Outbreak. Public health students can even study abroad and are encouraged to join the Public Health Student Alliance. For more information, visit kent.edu/public health. Public health, solving our problems together.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
Good evening, Portage County. I am Brady Hamilton, and let's get into some sports news. The MLB offseason is now in full effect after the World Series came to a close, with the Houston Astros beating the Philadelphia Phillies. The MLB recently announced their Gold Glove winners, and the Cleveland Guardians set a franchise record by bringing home 4 winners. Shane Bieber, Andres Gimenez, Stephen Kwan, and Miles Straw all won at their positions. Chris Antonetti has also recently been named the MLB Executive of the Year for 2022, and Stephen Kwan is one of the final nominees for Rookie of the Year. It is great to see that this young Cleveland Guardians team is being recognized for all that they accomplished in the 2022 season. And now we go to another Cleveland team, as the Cavaliers are back in action tonight on the road facing the Sacramento Kings at 10 p.m. The Cavs will be eager to get back out there after it was a nightmare collapse on Monday night at Crypto Arena when they blew a 13-point lead to the Clippers, who rallied all the way back and won late in the fourth quarter. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell will look to lead the way once again for the Cavs in the game that they hope will get them back on the winning streak. And now we come to our own Portage County. We check on the Kent State Golden Flashes football team, who traveled to take on MAC rival Bowling Green Falcons at 7 p.m. After a home loss to Ball State last week, which also ended a 13-home game winning streak, the Flashers are put in nearly a must-win situation. Their MAC title hopes may be close to all but over, but if the Flashers are able to win out the rest of the season, they will still be bowl eligible and have something to play for still. It will be a good game to watch as Colin Schlee looks to bounce back and help lead Kent State back on track. You can follow along with TV2 KSU Sports on Twitter for more updates on tonight's game. And final but not least, we go to my mid-season MVP for the NFL, and that is Tua Tagovailoa. This was a very tough choice for me, as Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are 2 others that could be named as the MVP as well. But it was hard for me not to go with Tua here. The Dolphins are a completely different team when Tua is starting at quarterback. In fact, it shows, as they are even 6-0 this year when Tua starts and finishes the game for the Dolphins. Look for Tua to lead this high-flying offense into the playoffs the rest of the season. I am Brady Hamilton, and make sure to tune in at the same time next week for more sports coverage.
Well, FAB has just the opportunity for you, how you can get involved. Is hailing a historic discovery. Archaeologists have uncovered more than 24 preserved bronze statues dating back to the ancient Roman times.
Yeah, the statues were discovered in thermal baths in Sakashino de Bani, a hilltop town in Tuscany. A researcher coordinating the dig says the statues used to adorn a sanctuary before they were immersed in thermal waters in a sort of ritual probably around the 1st century AD. Officials call it a remarkable discovery.
All right, and students have the opportunity to create the crew neck of their dreams. The Flash Activities Board is holding a sweatshirt design competition for its annual Winter Blast. If your design gets the popular vote, it will be printed on sweatshirts for the event, and you will receive a $50 Visa gift card. All designs must be submitted to fab@kent.edu by November 18.
That's a really cool opportunity that they're putting on together with FAB.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know. I really like the idea of getting the students to participate on those kind of things.
And there's so many fashion designers here. Sounds really fun.
Brady, if you were to design a sweater, what would yours be? Would it be a Dolphins thing? I know you're a Dolphins fan.
Gotta go with the snowman.
Oh, really?
Oh, why not?
Classic. I like it. I like it, man.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that is all the time we have for you today.
Thank you for joining us.
For updates on all these stories and more, visit our website at kenwire.com.
And on social media at KentWire on all platforms. I'm Brady Hamilton.
I'm Nuried Hurtado.
I'm Matt Caroli.
And I'm Alexandria Manthey. Have a great night, Portage County.